So another special issues about transfer pricing discipline is the one related to the cost contribution arrangement. Sometimes the multinational groups, in order to jointly develop some valuable intangibles, decide to share the contribution of this development. And in order to share this contribution and to be consistent with the arm's length principle, they can they can agree a so-called cost contribution arrangement, CCA. This arrangement, in order to be recognized by the tax authorities and to be consistent with the arm's length principle and the transfer pricing discipline, should have some specific characteristics. First of all, the arrangement should be embodied in a legally enforceable written contract. Secondly, the cost should be borne only by the entity that actually benefit from the intangibles. And the contribution should be proportional to the benefits that the company should receive. And the last part is that in order to enforce this agreement, the parties should keep a documented report of all the costs that they borne, and this documentation should prove how they calculated and how they have set the contribution and the split of the contribution among the companies. In order to, according to the OECD guidelines, the contribution, as we said, should be equal and proportional to the benefits that the companies would receive in the future. By the way, the determination of the contribution and the value of the future value of this intangible are the hardest part of the analysis and for the contribution arrangement. This is because not always the contribution could be calculated on the basis of the cost that the companies bore, because not always the costs are equal to the contribution. The cost indicator could be used, for example, if the contribution are of the same nature, but if they vary and they are of different nature, the only cost is not representative of the actual value. By the way, if the arrangement is consistent with the arm's length principle and with the condition that the OECD guidelines provide, the companies should have the right to deduct the cost from the tax base in the country of residence. Here you can find an example of a cost contribution agreement and how the companies could determine the contribution and the allocation of cost. We can assume that a company is a company A resident in country A, as well as a company B resident in country B, and they have set an CCA in order to develop some intangibles. In company B has the entitlement to exploit the intangibles in country B, as well as country A has the entitlement to exploit the intangibles all over the world. This could lead to the result that A will have the 70% of the total sales, and while B the 25%. In order, so you can see that approximately the company A would have the 75% of the benefits from the intangible, while company B the 25%. And this should be the ratio of the respective contributions, but if we use an indicator basis on the cost, should mean that company A should borrow the 75% of the cost, while company B the 25%. Anyway, multinational group frequently use the CCAs to shift profit from companies to other companies of the group. This is because sometimes the CCA could be used to shift deductible cost or to shift the actual property of some intangibles, because some entities in a low tax regime could acquire the right to exploit intellectual property in rights that are disproportional compared to the actual contribution that they provide. And this is possible because the tax authority actually struggle with determining the values and the actual contribution, in order to develop a specific intangible. This is because they don't have the information and the knowledge to identify specific the value of specific activities and the value that derives from specific intellectual properties. By the way, in order to deal with all the problems deriving from transfer pricing, or at least a part of these problems, many countries have set an obligation for the companies to provide the detailed documentation about the transaction with related entities. This documentation, this obligation to provide documentation should be enforced in two different ways. For example, some tax authorities in some countries provided penalties if the documentation is not appropriate. Other countries, such as in Italy, as we will see soon, provide some fiscal advantages if the taxpayers prepared an appropriate transfer pricing documentation. In accordance with OECD guidelines, the main goals of the transfer pricing documentation are three. The first one is actually to ensure that the taxpayers give appropriate consideration to the transfer pricing issues and to the compliance with OECD guidelines and arm's length principles. The second one is to provide tax administration with the necessary information to conduct a risk assessment for the transfer pricing purposes. And lastly, to provide useful information in order to conduct tax verification and assessment on the entities resident in the country. By the way, the documentation should be standard in each country, or at least quite similar, and the OECD guidelines provide a list and a structure of the transfer pricing documentation. This documentation should be divided in three principal documents. The first one is the master file that contains the information of the group, some general information about the group. The second one is a local file that contains the transfer pricing policies and the transaction that took place in reference with a specific country. And the last one is the country-by-country report that contains information about the tax and profit allocation between the companies of the group, and it is necessary only for the group of biggest dimension, and it's not always needed actually. The first, as we said, the first document is the master file. This document provides an overview of the group business that includes 5 categories of information. The first one is the structure of the group. The second, the description of the main activity that the group carries out. The third are the intangibles that the groups detain, and as well as the master file should contain the financial activities that the intercompany financial activities of the group. And lastly, the master file should describe the financial and fiscal position of the group itself. The second document, as we said, is a local file. This local file focuses on a company that is resident in a specific country, and it contains specific information about the transaction, that the intercompany transaction of this company, and its transfer pricing policy, and how the prices are actually determined. For this reason, the information should be, first of all, the financial information regarding the transaction, the related transaction, the comparability analysis, and lastly, the selection and application of the most appropriate method in order to set the prices at the arm's length. As we said, the last document is the country-by-country report. This provides some information about the tax situation, the fiscal situation of the whole group, and how the profits and taxes are allocated between among the companies. It should contain the complete list of all the group's entities, and it should include the following information, such as the tax jurisdiction of incorporation, and the main business that each entity carries out. And as we said, this report is useful for companies that have a high risk for transfer pricing purposes, and in general for tax purposes. And it will be used in order to determine the risk of profit shifting between the companies of the group. In Italy, the legislator provide a specific discipline about the documentation for transfer pricing purposes. The discipline was set by Article 26 of the Legislative Decree number 78 of 2010. And this article provides that the taxpayer could prepare an appropriate transfer pricing documentation. And if they do that, they will have some fiscal advantages. It's not mandatory to prepare transfer pricing documentation. And this is the so-called collaborative approach that is trying to take place in Italy. And applying this approach should lead to benefits for both the tax authorities and the taxpayers. In order to prepare an appropriate transfer pricing documentation, we see that the documentation should be the master file and local file, at least, and this documentation could actually give some detailed information to the tax authorities, that this information are useful for them in order to verify if the companies are consistent with the arm's length principle, but the preparation of this documentation provides some advantages for the taxpayers as well. First of all the financial penalties that are usually imposed if the tax authority adjusts the transfer prices are disapplied. And secondly, the preparation of this documentation should cause the reversal of the burden of proof. This because the tax authority, if it wants to disregard this documentation, it cannot only said that the documentation is wrong and apply another method or another comparability analysis, but should prove why the documentation is wrong and why it's not consistent with the arm's length principle. And this is quite more difficult than only provide a different analysis or a different benchmark that provide different results. Because actually, for the specific characteristics of the transfer pricing analysis, using different benchmarks could lead to different results, but both of the results could be actually consistent with the arm's length principle, because it's not like because not all the analyses could lead to the same results actually, but if the analyses are consistent with the indication of the OECD guidelines, they, by the way, lead to analysis that is consistent with the arm's length. And lastly, the Italian legislators actually provide an obligation to prepare the country-by-country report. This obligation is mandatory only for the biggest multinational groups. In other words, the group that has a turnover exceeding 750 million euros. In case of violation, the penalty is between 10,000 and 50,000 euros. And these country-by-country reports are used in order to evaluate if there are some transfer pricing issues for these big multinational groups, and in order to avoid the double taxation and the profit shifting among the European member states, these country-by-country reports are shared by the tax authorities, the European tax authorities, since 2017. And they were actually used in order to analyze in European context the transfer prices policies. Well, this is enough for this part, and in the last one, the last two, we will analyze a specific case in order to relate it to the transfer pricing regulations.